Hey guys, welcome to Dash Initiative. Today we are starting our series on things I wish I had known before we got married. And today we are going to be talking on premarital preparation. What is premarital preparation? These are things we need to start doing, things we need to stop doing, new things we need to learn, and old things we need to unlearn as intending couples before we go into marriage relationship. Now, why do we marry? We marry because marriage fulfills a deep emotional need that both males and females have. These emotional needs could be feelings of loneliness, feelings of love, wanting to love someone and wanting someone to love you back, feelings of sexual urges. Now, if you're single and you're an intending couple and you are a Christian, you cannot fulfill these sexual urges outside the confines of marriage. Hear what God says in 1 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 9 concerning this. 1 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 9, it says, "But if they cannot contain, let them marry, for it is better to marry than to burn." Now, this is talking to both single male and female, that if you've started having all these urges, of sex, and you cannot hold yourself, then it is better for you to marry so that you don't burn in hellfire. Now, when a marriage succeeds, it can be the highest source of joy and happiness for the couple. Why? Because what could have, the differences, all the misunderstandings that will arise in their marriage that could have caused bigger problems for them, they are able to tackle it because they've now gotten to know one another better when they were preparing for their marriage. And so, but unfortunately, a failed or a struggling marriage can also be a source of nightmare to any couple who did not prepare before they went into that marriage relationship. And so, adequate preparation is what guarantees success in marriage. Adequate preparation is what guarantees success in marriage. Now, struggles begin after the wedding ceremony in most marriages. Why? Because young couples go into marriage, into marriage relationship, without knowing what they are getting themselves into, when they chose to marry. For example, now I've seen someone I love. I'm so much in love with this person. I would love to spend the rest of my life with him or her. I can't even wait for one day to spend, to begin to live together with this person. And so immediately they jump into marriage relationship, forgetting that marriage is much more than the wedding ceremony. It's much more than the jubilation, the celebration. It's more than the buying of ashwebi, arranging, the bridal train, much more than the whining and dining. It is after the wedding ceremony, that's when the marriage proper begins. That is when both of you begin to live and cleave together. So you need to prepare adequately well before you go into this marriage relationship. I remember reading something on Twitter about a man that bought 50,000 naira ashwebi and traveled from Abuja to Lagos by flight, for the couple's wedding ceremony. And then he also gave them gift and bought money and sprayed them, money, only for him to hear after 6 months that the marriage had, packed up. And he was so angry that, after spending so much money on this, people's wedding, only for him to hear that their marriage did not last. So I was like trying to reconcile his feelings with what the couple, their families, and their, close friends will be feeling, because these are people that would have spent so much money, so much time and expended so much energy in planning for the wedding ceremony that only lasted for one day. And they neglected to prepare for a marriage that will last them for a lifetime. So this is the mistake most, couples made, because they found someone they are in love with. The love is, shocking them so much that they don't even want to wait to prepare at all, before they go into that marriage relationship. And so my advice to couples, to intending couples that are in courtship, is that don't go into marriage relationship with a preconceived idea of the magical, happily ever after ending. Those are for fairy tales. We all read fairy tale books where the prince and the princess, lived happily ever after. This is reality. It doesn't happen like that in reality. If you don't prepare, if you fail to prepare for that marriage, then you should be prepared to fail in that marriage. Okay, so before any couple will go into marriage relationship, you need to prepare adequately well. Because if you don't prepare and you just rush blindly into it, by the time the wedding ceremony is over and you are entered into the marriage, that is when your eyes will be opened to the realities that the two of you cannot live together. And then before you know it, you're separated. Before you know it, then you're divorced. And all this can be avoided if only you will take time, adequate time, to prepare, for that marriage before you go into it. And so if you plan on having a successful marriage in future, my advice is that the first thing you should do is to get information. Get information about the person you want to get married, to. What is their family background? What is their religion, religion disposition? What do you even know about them? It is not just enough to see someone and you love them and you just want to get married to them. No, you need to know much, you need to know more about them. And it is this time of courtship that you have, to do all that, so that you would have, prevented yourself from going into a relationship, a marriage relationship that will struggle or that will fail. Because it is better, to have a broken engagement, to have a broken courtship, than for you to have a broken marriage. So at this stage, both of you also need to master the skills of living together as a team, You're two different people coming from two different backgrounds, to live together as husband and wife. So before you go into the marriage relationship, you need to master the skill of how the two of you will live together, will work together as a team when you get into the marriage relationship proper. So I hope I've been able to shed more light on what you need to do, as intending couples to prepare, for marriage before you go into it. And if this has added value to you, I'd like you to like and share with your friends and families. And then I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.